Welcome in, welcome in, welcome once again to the newest edition of 3 In, 3 Out, the most unique Seahawks recap show in the multiverse. I'm your host, Clinton Bonner. Come on out and find me at Clinton Bon. I'm not verified yet, Elon. Not yet. And come and find Brandon out on Twitter at Seahawkers Pod, because I'm joined by the one, the only, the great Brandon Schultz, of course. Elon got me all flustered there, but find him out on Twitter as well. And folks, if you're hearing our voices for the first time, if this is your first time to the YouTube channel or the audio stream, whatever it might be, I think we just ask you to subscribe, like, comment, download, share the Hawkra, right? Just 212s, tell 212s, and the Hawkra grows and grows and grows, just like this season is blooming in front of us, Brandon, with another lovely home victory, another demolishing of a quote-unquote good team, and we beat them by quote-unquote 2 touchdowns, and the last part was egregious. Yes, sir.
The season is blooming. Twitter about to be blooming with $8 a month blue check marks, courtesy of Elon. I think that was it, right? You got to pay your $8.
$8 and you get it. I'm like, well, if everybody's a superhero, nobody's a superhero. So let's figure that one out, Elon, right?
And you get minimal ads. What is that crap? If I'm paying money, I want 0 ads. That's like with these streaming services now. Like, you better give me an ad-free option. I don't want a minimal ad only as an option. Like, if I'm paying money, I'm going to pay it all the way and get rid of the things that I don't want.
Well, see, I think this is like a dealer's choice. But there's people like you that are like, just let me buy my way out of all the ads and I'll do it. Yeah, all of them. I want them all out of my life.
I want out of all of them.
Right. You should just tweet Elon back and say, hey, $12 a month, because 12 and no ads. How about that, Elon? Or just keep it free and it's cool. Just keep it as is. Figure your money out, Elon.
Hey, look, I don't need a blue check mark. So I would forego the blue check mark. Just give me an option to throw a couple bucks at not having ads. That's all I want.
Yes. And for folks out there, you know what? A nice use of throwing a couple bucks, getintheflock.com. Throw some shekels there and you actually get things. And it's not like, you don't get ads. No, you get to enter the Discord. You get to perhaps come in the Facebook Ring of Honor, the Seahawkers Pod Ring of Honor. There's gifting. There's things that are always happening, the Pick'em League and all that jazz. And on 3 In, 3 Out, we like to focus. Folks, we had a great instant reaction show. That was awesome. Ton of fun. But this show is a little bit different. This show is when we're going to dive into those nooks and those crannies. So we're not going to hit some of the biggest players and biggest themes of the game that you're going to get from the rest of the things you've probably been digesting for a while now. But we are going to get into those delicious buttery nooks, because at the end of the day, we're Seahawks fanatics. That's why we're here. We're a little bit insane and we like it that way. And Brandon, we keep the show dead simple. 3 on the good side, 3 on the crap side, the in, the out. But with all the hubbub and going 5 and 3 already, I lost my scrap of paper. The scrap of paper sticky note that has the one rule. It was here. I've lost it. I don't remember the one rule. I feel shame, but I need to dial a friend. What's the one rule, Brandon?
Well, I feel like this should be relatively simple, because what kind of win streak are we on now anyway?
3-game win streak.
3-game win streak on 3 In, 3 Out. The part of the rule is right in the title. When we win, we start with an in.
We start with an in. One of these years, Brandon, I'm going to retain that information, but it won't be this year. And I don't want to. I want the good times to keep on rocking and rolling. I want to see a 4th win. We'll probably close with that as we finish this thing out. But there was a lot. This was another really cool nuanced game that on the rewatch, there was a lot of cool stuff to go celebrate and then stuff was popping up from the flock section, which we're going to get to, which is again robust. It's a bit of a turducken. There's a lot there, and with that, there was so many good call outs that I had missed, and a new camera angle showing stuff off that I was like, "Ooh, we get to talk about all this." So stick around for the whole thing. It's gonna be a lot of fun, Brandon. Before we get to that first in, Brandon, anything you want to say about this game, this experience? And your vibes. How are you feeling? The Bradley Chubb trade, the effect on us. What do you got?
Well, the Bradley Chubb trade is probably the most interesting thing to come out of the trade deadline, obviously, since the Seahawks weren't part of making any trades to get better. But the thing that I really like about the Chubb trade, Sure. Yeah, the Broncos, they get a first round pick back, but that doesn't affect anything that we had going on. Like, we still get our picks from the Broncos. And in fact, this might make it better for us because now the Broncos defense gets worse. And I'll take a decrease effectiveness Broncos defense just through the rest of the year. That helps out our deal in terms of draft picks. So great move, Denver.
Loved it. Thank you, Dolphins. Thank you as Mike McDaniel's the entire thing. Thank you, Denver. The Let's Ride curse is still real, and who would have thunk it? Who would have thunk it that entering? So now we're entering week 9, right? That would be right. Yeah, entering week 9, that the Denver Broncos are sellers at the deadline. That
I was told by the media that if they lost in England, that they were going to be sellers at the trade deadline. They win against the Jaguars, and they're still sellers. So thank you.
The Let's Ride curse is just that strong. It just doesn't matter. It just carries over, and now they dump, a 26-year-old pass rusher who is good. I think he's a B plus. I'm not going to say he's a Micah Parsons type dude. He's not, but he's a very good NFL pass rusher, and they don't have him anymore. So if that equates to 1 or 2 more losses, juicy losses that helps us get a better pick, just lovely. Lovely.
Look, it makes a ton of sense for the Broncos. They don't have a first round pick. Chubb is probably not one of the.
Why is that?
That's because we have it.
Right.
We grifted them out of a couple of first round and second round picks. So that worked out for our deal. This also works out for our deal. But like I was about to say, with Chubb, he's not a guy that you necessarily want to pay top 5, top 10 money to in terms of pass rusher. He's not. So it makes sense for them to go get that out on the open market. If the Dolphins want to, because they're going to want to make a push for the playoffs, it kind of makes sense for them. It's still a little steep in terms of what they got to give up. But hey, they're trying to compete with the Chiefs and with the Bills, and particularly with the Bills being in their division. So, those are maybe the moves that they're. I don't know if it makes a ton of sense for them. They want to be competitive long term. I don't know what they're doing actually.
Yeah, I don't know. I think Dolphins are kind of going for it. I think they're feeling the two a year, and Tyreek is having a great year, and they feel that they can compete this year. So go for it. And I can't. It's all good. It caused that trade, and I'm fine with that. And the Bills are not some insurmountable thing that you can't beat. Because
and it was kind of a free first for them anyway, because that was the first that they got back
the Niners,
for the Niners doing the deal with the Trey Lance picks.
Yeah, which is it's all good. So dancing numbers. The nice part is, listen, we'll talk about all this stuff, and as the year wears on, of course, we now at this point we want to jockey and we want to get into the playoffs now for sure. We want to win the division if we can. We want to go, make some noise. When I look at the AFC teams, and of course we'll get back to our squad already, but when I look at the AFC teams, I do not see teams that can run the ball. It's like they still can't run the ball. They struggled against the Packers. The Kansas City Chiefs, they don't run the ball well. They have both of them are a fully operational, battle station there. They both have a Death Star fatal flaw, and they cannot run the ball. And it's amazing to me, especially after Buffalo last year. It's amazing to me they did not correct that. Now they did just go get Nyheim Hines. They got him at the deadline, but they already have Cook. They already have, with James Cook, right? Dalvin's brother. So I felt they gave up kind of quite a bit for a dude I think they already had, and he's not a 3-down back by any means. So it's all interesting. We shall see how that all happens. But going back to Grifton, Brandon, call me Mint Jelly because I'm on the lam. Let's hit that first whammy and let's get to this first in. There she is. All right, folks. So on 3 in 3 out, we do like to wet the canvas. We do like to paint the picture for y'all. And whether or not you're into pointillism or impressionism or cubism, that's your deal. But whatever you like, dive, sink into that mentally. But we want to wet the canvas a la Bob Ross style. So we win. We start with an in. We are starting with an in here. It is quarter 3, 7 minutes to go, 10-7 ball game. We're leading because because we led. It's 10-7. Giants are at Seattle's 14-yard line. It's a 2nd and 8. So again, if you have the ability to go rewatch, go rewatch. Daniel Jones in shotgun, Barkley to his right side. This is a formation that the X's and O's folks have been talking quite a bit about. And it's more of like a 3-5-3 where you got your 3, basically defensive tackles. You got a guy on the nose. And then we're bringing 5 dudes that are essentially like playing linebacker, like the Iron Dome here, right? So they got this 3-5-3 stance. And what it does in this particular form, and I think I got the format right, but what it does do for sure is it brings Ryan Neal into the box.
Mm-hmm.
And now this particular Ryan Neal play, this is Nwosu crashes in, does his job. Michael Jackson's getting kicked out by number 83, who was pulling on the play. And there's a gigantic hole that would have been there. And remember, Ryan Neal is basically playing inside linebacker to start this particular snap. He stays super disciplined, doesn't get got, doesn't like trail in with Nwosu. And as soon as Daniel Jones tries to take it upfield, he meets Jones like 1 yard, over the line of scrimmage and makes a huge tackle right there. The whole series ends up culminating in a field goal. I could have picked a dozen Ryan Neal plays doing the in-box things, but this one was just a real nice example. The dude is so sound, Brandon. He's so sound. He hits, he tackles. All we heard about was Daniel Jones's, great galloping and running ability. And we saw none of that. A big reason was Ryan Neal. Wanted to start with that man right there, number 26, and give the first in to Mr. Ryan Neal.
Yeah, Ryan on the day, I believe he had, let's see, he was lined up in the box 29 times out of,
wow.
Yeah, it was quite a bit. And I don't think that that's super unusual, but yeah, 29 out of 55 snaps that he was on the field. And that's, it's a really good spot for him because one of the things that he's been doing really well is getting tackles for a loss. And this wasn't necessarily a TFL. But it was, I think it does go into the stop column, which are, some of those really, really good tackles where, maybe they get a gain of 1 or 2, but if it's an early down, that's what helps, keep them kind of behind the sticks.
Yeah.
And he was, let's see, 2nd on the team in terms of stops on the day, also 6 tackles. So really good day for Ryan Neal. And yeah, like you said, I think that is a good spot for him because on sometimes when they use this formation, they also use it when Cody Barton's not on the field.
Mm-hmm.
And we saw him get about 30 some snaps and I think have his best game so far. And so that they may have found like the Cody Barton sweet spot for this defense.
I love that segue to talk at least a little bit about Barton. Number one, I think you're right. I think in the sense that he has also been progressively better as the Seahawks figured things out. And then we had that 2 weeks ago, or now 3 weeks ago, he played 30-something% when it was Kyler Murray. And then he got jacked back up to like 60-something% the following week versus Herbert. And then it got dialed back down a little bit versus Daniel Jones. So I think what we saw this game, and obviously what we just saw in the Arizona game, we'll see more of that, which will mean more Ryan Neal in the box type stuff. And that's great. That's not dismissing Cody because Cody has played better and better and better to a point of being, hey, a competent linebacker once again, who's making plays, making tackles. And it's almost like being asked to do less and do more of the same thing less often. And he's been good at that. So I love the double whammy, almost a double in here, Brandon, to get the Neal, to get the Barton, to get the whole thing already. We do have some outs to talk about. It wasn't a perfect game. It felt pretty darn perfect, but it wasn't. So let's hit that first whammy towards the outside of the ledger and let's discuss. Okay, so this one, Brandon, there's some outs here. We got to go through them. I think this one could be pretty quick in the sense that in the first quarter, in fact, I think it might have been the first 2 to 5 snaps of the game. I don't know why, but Austin Blythe couldn't snap the ball two times. It was just weird. It was like the first one was almost the safety out of the end zone, safety into the end zone over, Peyton's head there, little Omaha special. Gino snags that thing, and it was like a bad angle. they didn't really have, it wasn't set back where you could see the whole thing just yet. So all you kind of saw was Gino. At first, he was just jumping off screen. And when it was first playing, I thought he was doing the okey doke again. I thought it was a direct snap. Wasn't. It was a bad snap. And then a little bit later down that series, he puts one at Gino's feet, and that was weird, right? So he kind of had the heebie-jeebies, the yips to start the game.
Yeah.
And then he gets a bit dinged up, and Fuller comes in and does an admirable job. But I just, we had enough challenges giving away points again that I don't need that from my center. I think Blythe's had a plus year better than I thought he'd be, but this is not about the year. This is about the moments. Blythe, for giving me little miniature heart attacks to start the game, he's wearing the scarlet out.
A plus year is a generous way to describe it. I feel like he's been.
You hate him. you do not like Blythe still.
Okay, this is a great time to point this out, because one of the things about this game, we got to see Austin Blythe go down and Kyle Fuller come in. And okay, as rough as I've been on Blythe, I was not really interested in seeing Fuller come out onto the field, because as okay as Blythe has been, I feel like Fuller had the potential to be a liability.
Okay. Yeah, right.
And what we saw was Fuller actually played pretty decently. And I mean, he played okay in the sense that he played kind of to the level of how Blythe's been playing. Okay, if you just look at the pressures given up by the offensive line, you go down here. Now, the number of snaps that Austin Blythe played, 15 snaps. In those 15 snaps, he gave up 2 pressures. And obviously they weren't running every time. They were only in pass formations 9 out of those 15. So in 9 pass blocking snaps, he gave up 2 pressures on the day. Kyle Fuller comes in, plays the other 49 offensive snaps, 32 pass blocking snaps, gives up 2 pressures on the day. And so if you think about the fact that if the Giants defense is going to try to attack a weakness in the offensive line, they see Blythe going out and they think, oh, maybe we can get more pressure up the middle going at Kyle Fuller being a backup. Well, if they tried to take advantage of it, it wasn't to any kind of more success than they had with Blythe early on in those first 15 snaps. So I give a lot of credit to Kyle Fuller coming in and being okay-ish enough that we didn't notice any drop off from Blythe being out.
And that is the professional way of how you turn it out into an in, ladies and gentlemen. That is a lovely, lovely parsing. With that, to discuss it a bit further, I was very fearful when Fuller came in, just because he has not been good. We talked in the preseason, we're like, well, they keep him because he's versatile, but if he's bad at all positions, that's not versatility. That's just being bad. And I had to eat a little crow, at least this game, because he did the job. He did the job for sure. He looked good. The part across the board that is not an out for me, however, was like really glaring, but I didn't know where to pin it. And that was kind of the point where I was like, I don't know who to give this out to, but we couldn't run block. We did not run block very well. And I don't know if that was, I think Blythe, when I say a plus player, I think he's been pretty good at protection and getting better and better at run blocking. Last couple of weeks, he's been downfield and combo blocks and hitting the second layer and hitting hole, making holes. And today, or this game, it just wasn't there for the interior of the line, period. Now, I guess you could maybe just say, well, the Giants are pretty good, and they got really good defensive tackles. They tackle well. Their linebackers played better than I thought they were going to play from a run stopping perspective, at least. And hat tip to the Giants. They're a pretty good defensive ball club, and that showed out. So, I think we could maybe hit a happy medium there with the sober yin, the raging yang, that Fuller did a nice job. He gets the back door in, and Blythe can stop giving us heart attacks and just hike the ball the right way.
Hey, I'm not going crazy and giving Kyle Fuller an in. I said
sneaky in.
Just saying he was not outwardly like Blythe was.
Okay, fair enough. Hit the whammy. Very, very sneaky from you. Very sneaky. All right, we are back on the inside of the ledger. This is fun. This is fun. I like this one. Yeah, this one's real cool. All right. Sometimes I got to review. What did I write? What was I thinking? All right. So it's 10-10. Quarter three, 5:04 to go. Seattle's at, I believe, I think it is their 38-yard line, the Giants' 38-yard line. It's a 1st and 10. Maybe it's our 38. Good pizza, bad pizza. It's okay. It's pizza. But again, Q3, 5:04 to go. Yeah. This is one where Gino is in shotgun. Homer is in, and he's kind of, I think he's off to his right-hand side there. And they kept doing this big sweeping motion with Deejay Dallas. I forget what it's called, but it's like a big arc.
Where he arcs kind of out behind both Gino and the other back that's in there.
Yeah. It's long, swooping, and you're like, what's going on here? So he's doing. So if you watch the game, you're like, oh, I know at least what we're talking about here. I think Top Billin, I was watching his video, and he named it. He was like, oh, they were doing this, and he knew what it was called. So I have to go.
What they're doing has a name.
Yes,
but you didn't write the name down.
I did a portion of the job. Correct. So Dallas is doing the swoopy thingy, right? So he's doing that big swoopy thing, and this is the play where Gino drops back and things are kind of getting a little busy around him, and he ends up dumping it really short just for 2 yards to Homer. Actually, I know we are actually on our own 38. I'll go back and correct that. I think you wanted to say that earlier.
Well, so I think it was confusing because the play spanned, over the 50, and we ended up about on the 38 on the other side.
Right. Exactly. That's exactly right. So I confused easily. Should have wrote that down too. So we get a little 2-yard dump off, and you're watching it in real time going, okay, he'll get hit. He'll get tackled by a linebacker or something, whatever it is. Not so fast, right? So Homer makes a beeline. He just goes horizontal. He catches it at like the 40, 41-yard line. He literally just runs horizontal towards the sidelines because he's got my man, Deejay Dallas, who did that swoopy thing, who's out there ready to block. Now, the piece that I love so much about this was Deejay Dallas's analysis of whom to block. He lines this thing up, and he could have went, I think it's a linebacker or one of the safeties or a corner, and he sees a first dude, and he makes like just a prediction in real time to say, no. Homer's got him beat. He's not going to get – Homer will turn the corner. He's got him. So DJ proceeds upfield to take the next dude out. So instead of this thing being 6 yards, 5 yards, whatever it might have been, this turns into like a 23-yard gain because Deejay Dallas, his real-time diagnosis of whom to block and why. And in real time, you're like, what are you doing, dude? Take your dude. And then Homer gets around that guy, and DJ's up the sideline kicking the next guy out. It's a lovely job, man. And I just thought the decision-making from Deejay Dallas was so nook and cranny worthy. Great play, broken down, little dump off where we see other teams do this to us all the time, Brandon. Little dump off to Eckler, and he's gone for 30 yards. And we freaking turned the tables this time and did it to them. And I was rejoicing about it. So Deejay Dallas for the block gets the big end.
This is really cool because one of the things, I don't know if people know this, but when the MVC is created, I know we're not to the MVC yet.
Right.
But when we create the MVC, a lot of times there's like a little inscription.
Yeah.
Because you want to note the play, you want to note the time it was. And so that way, when the player sees it in their locker, they're like, I know exactly what that moment goes to.
Right.
But there's also another little part for like what the play call is. And this can be the Deejay Dallas analysis.
Wow.
So not only to have the, it's really cool that, that you did that.
I didn't do it. You did it. I mean, look at you. I mean, this is a volley here, but wowzers, that is an amazing job by you to pick it up in real time as Deejay Dallas did. You know what? At the bottom of that trophy, it might even say like the branded analysis.
Great DJ job by me.
Right.
Signed Michael Scott.
Right. Exactly. All right, Wayne Gretzky, hit that whammy. Let's get to it. We're back in the New York groove. Here we go. Out 7-7, 2 minutes to go. Quarter two. Seattle is now on the 16-yard line. And at this point, we are on the Giants 16-yard line. This is after one of the fumbles by Richie James, who had a rough day. Stopping there for 1 second. by the way, hitting the pause button. Can we? How many times did you listen to any national media? Or I live in close to New York and
Yeah.
Connecticut. All the talk is the Giants gave this away. The
Ugh.
Giants gave this away. The Giants had this. The Giants gave it away. If
Yeah.
only for the fumbles. In what universe did they watch this freaking game unfold? Because the game should have been over long before those things, if not for our mistakes. But no. But Brandon, I'm not sure if you heard the same stuff. The Giants simply didn't show up in Seattle. They didn't show up.
I didn't even hear that much of this game discussed in the national media. You probably heard a lot of it in the New York, in the Northeast area, because those are the teams out there. It seemed like this game was somewhat glossed over. Although
Yeah.
I did hear some national talk now about Pete Carroll being in the conversation for Coach of the Year. So credit to you for dubbing this the potential Coach of the Year bowl.
Yes, and he won that bowl. We won that bowl. And by the way, the national media probably just a little too busy salivating over the San Francisco 49ers in second place.
Yeah. I mean, Christian McCaffrey, did you know, Clinton, that he is the first player since LaDainian Tomlinson to throw for a touchdown, to run for a touchdown, and to catch a touchdown in the same game? You probably didn't hear that.
Didn't hear that at all.
It's one of those little stats that's gone under the radar this past week.
Didn't hear that. Did he play basketball? Didn't hear that at all. Wow. So we're at
Jerome
this.
Bettis, is he from Detroit? Nobody knows.
Precise. All right. It's 7-7, quarter two. We're at the 16-yard line after that fumble, which cost the Giants the game apparently. And this is the D. Eskridge illegal formation. This is, and it's not even a play, it's a dead play. And what I'm trying to breathe into the universe is that I'm giving up on D. Eskridge, and I want it to come back to bite me. I'm inviting the crow to be stuffed and put on my plate, but he can't seem to do much right. And this is a formation play where it's just like, dude, in that particular case, I think he's supposed to be off the line. This is stuff that like a player of that caliber is doing literally since junior high school on. So what's up, D? What is up? I'm stopping it there. He gets the out. I've just reached the point of, I don't know I can't love you any longer. And I've tried, D. I feel like a scorned lover, Brandon.
Yeah. I think if people now, I don't know if everybody understands illegal formation penalties because they're kind of weird in that it's not something that you generally look for because they're professional football players and they know how to line up correctly.
Right.
Because all D. Eskridge has to do in this situation is look to his left and see, is there a tight end there that's lined up on the line of scrimmage? Because if there is, he needs to take one step back so he's not on the line of scrimmage. Now, there have to be 7 guys on there, but that's why you look to the top of the screen and you see it was probably DK and Tyler up at the top of the screen. And those, so you have you probably have your 8 guys then. No, Tyler's probably in the slot and he's stepped back because then you can't have 2 guys up there. Anyway, see, it's confusing even for me. I'm not a professional football player, but all D has to do is look to see if there's a tight end. And if there is, take one step back and you're not in an illegal formation.
Yes. And just kind of sick of it at this point, and I hate even being there. I hope I end up, loving this man towards the end of the year and having reasons to celebrate. The play itself, he has 0 impact on the play. Obviously the flag comes right out, but the players play the play. Walker gets a 7-yard run. It would have been like 3rd and a few inches. It was a good run, good push in a game where we didn't get a lot of that kind of push. So it would have been 3rd and a few inches. Nope. It's 2nd and 12. And, we kind of sputter there and end up with a field goal there.
It negated the play that it was awfully close to a first down, right? It
had that right there. Half, it was, exactly. 6th and correct. Oh, I'm sorry. You mean the next play as well? Because the next play also is the floater to Lockett where he almost keeps his toes in bounds on the 3rd down play.
They allowed the play because as soon as the ball was snapped, they threw the flag.
Yes.
And I want to say it was was it a Geno just short throw or was it was a throw or a run that was almost a first down? And
that particular play was Walker for 7 yards.
okay, well, yeah, it was
Yeah,
okay.
It should have been like third. Should have been 3rd and inches.
Right.
Like he was getting tackled, and he would have been down a little short, but the spot would have been like 3rd and half a yard. And that changes the complexity of that drive, and then you burn more clock. It's the end of the quarter, et cetera, et cetera. So it's just like bad on bad on bad. And just for shame, dude, for shame. I want more from him, and I think we all do at this point. But I'm done talking about him, Brandon. I am done.
Well, until next week, if he gives you another outworthy play, then you have to continue to dog him. That's how it works. So you can the crow will pile up with each additional out you put on the plate.
Good. Let the crow be the biggest pile of crow, so that when it matters most, I have to eat all the crow. I'll be so happy when that happens, but it hasn't happened yet. Hit that thing, buddy. Quarter 4, 12:56 to go, 13-10 Seahawks. Hey, we're leading because we never were behind this game. 13-10 Seahawks. The Giants are at the 29-yard line. This is our 29-yard line. It's 1st and 10. This is the drive that started, I think, in the 3rd quarter, where they just start converting. They start converting these 3rd downs. And I'm
3rd and 11, 3rd and 9.
And I'm pulling my friggin' hair out. And it was actually my 3rd out, and I changed it because I was like, all right, I think we talked about this on the instant reaction show. But I'm getting pissy about this drive because we're only bringing 4. And I know we were getting pressure with 4, but with it's 3rd and 11, it's 3rd and 9. Bring the 5th dude. They don't have studs on the outside. We weren't. And then Slayton's making these 1st down catches. So it's that particular drive. So now it's 1st and 10 again at the 29-yard line. This is the play, which doesn't require much explanation. This is when Bruce Irvin uses Daniel Jones as a projectile, is the best way to say it, to tackle his teammate Saquon Barkley in the backfield. And he shows the world that at 35 years old, he is stronger than most people, and he makes Daniel Jones and Saquon look like a fool. It's an 8-yard loss. Shoots through. Now, the beautiful part about this, the Giants are pulling 2 tight ends right to left. He literally just slices between both of them and jacks up Daniel Jones into Saquon. 8-yard loss. This results in a field goal to make it 13-13, but this was the momentum halter. This was got people out of there. The chants are going for Bruce. I mean, if this wasn't the play of the game, I'm not really sure what was. Everybody knows what this one is, so I'll stop it right there and just say, Bruce.
It was one of the most fun plays of the game, and you laid it out perfectly because with the 2 tight ends coming across. Now, the first one, he's not going to even bother with Bruce because his job is to get to the opposite side of the offensive line so he can pick up a blocker over there. So he's not going to mess with the tight end. The second guy, though, it's probably his job. And by the time that he could even get his hands out to think about blocking, he realizes that he'd be blocking Bruce Irvin in the back and probably picking up a penalty and probably giving him an assist, because that is the moment where Bruce Irvin turns Daniel Jones into a human domino and collapses it right on top of Saquon Barkley. So super fun play. It was one of my favorite ones on the day. I'm glad that Bruce Irvin is getting the end.
It was fun. It was lovely. I liked hearing Pete talk about the importance of Bruce Irvin, and he's in the press conference. He talked about the purposeful tie back to the Legion of Boom era. And he's like, I think the way Pete framed it is like, he does have the history. He does remember and carry with him what that attitude was at its core, and what's basically acceptable and what's not acceptable. And he's just bringing that to this team, and it's a lovely thing to see, man. So I mean, just one of those beautiful surprises that a couple of weeks into the year, they're like, all right, we're going to get Bruce, who's sitting at home. That always amazes me, by the way. A dude like that caliber, I know he's 35, whatever he's going to make for a salary cap, but are you telling me that 31 other teams could not use an edge guy like that? That's the part that blows my mind every single year. Guys, just like, they're still there. They're still in immaculate shape. And they're still a heck of an effective ball player because they know how to play the game. And Bruce knows how to play the game, man.
Well, I mean, could it be a similar situation to KJ Wright where he's saying, I would come back to play football,
Hmm.
but it's only happening if I can play here in my hometown. And I
Yeah.
don't know. I guess does Bruce just live in Seattle now too? Because obviously he went to
I
school in
think
West
that's his.
Virginia. So
Yeah, I think that's his area, though. I think he
okay,
was a mountaineer, and think now he's a Pacific Northwest,
yeah,
Mount Rainier guy. Um, I think so, Brandon. Which is, but that could be it. That could be just him waiting for the right callback, as opposed to putting himself out there to be like, oh yeah, I'll go play for the Titans. Like, no, who
yeah.
cares, right?
I don't.
Go,
Yeah, I don't want to play that badly that
yeah,
I'm gonna go and play for coaches I don't know. With maybe I know a player or two just because I've been around. But no, if I want to come back, it's got to be just right for me. And he found himself in the right situation. He got a great play right here, and I don't even think we mentioned the fact that it was that chain domino reaction of him dominoing Daniel Jones into Saquon Barkley that then backs him up 8 yards, second and 18
yeah.
incomplete pass, and then third and 18. Yeah, they pick up 10, but because of that -8 play, they have to then settle for a field goal. And yeah, it does tie up the football game, but that the Seahawks never look back from that.
Yeah, never look back. That was, and then then we get the ball, and 5 plays later, we're dancing in the end zone again. So the momentum again, momentum's not real. Shut up. Momentum's not real. It's super real in sports. All right, whammy, one more out. Shut up. Momentum's not real. That's that argument betwixes me. All right, quarter four, 20-13 now. This is after we get that 5-play, 75-yard drive, redemption arc, the whole thing already. It's lovely. We get the ball back, 6:20 to go. Now it's 3rd and 6 from our own 24-yard line. This was weird to me. We ended up, if you watch this formation, we have like I think it's 4 wide receivers. It may be a tight end, maybe he's one of them. I didn't, but it is a tight end because one of them's Noah Fant. In fact, I want to talk about that. But it is basically 4 wide, but as wide as you could go 2 and 2,
Right.
like to the edges, nothing in the middle, no outlet pass. And if you watch the play develop, it's like, it's not 4 go routes because that's not what it is, but it is 4 dudes all going beyond the sticks. And, Gino just kind of hucks it up to DK for an attempt at a 50-50. I hated that formation, and I hated more that nothing was working in the middle of the field, and it became our go-to in a play we have to convert is a 50-50 ball. It didn't sit well with me. And then upon rewatch, Brandon, the part that was like the turd on top of the sundae was that if you go back and watch, Fant is wide open.
Really?
He beats his dude. I think it's Fant and Lockett on the top of the screen,
Yeah.
and they do a little bit of a do-si-do off the get, and Fant is kind of coming to the inside, and then he's doing like a bit of a post seam. He has about a step and a half on his guy. By the time Gino's releasing the ball, Fant is wide open on the seam, and then you see the ball just floating down the left-hand side. And I kind of worry about Fant. I wonder if he's having fun. I know the team's having fun.
Yeah.
I wonder if Noah Fant's having fun because he seems a little wishy-washy and a little frustrated to me. And this was one that stood out to me. Maybe it's a story in my head. Hated the play. It's an out. And like I said, the piece on top was Fant was open. Fant was wide open.
I haven't got that vibe from Fant necessarily, but I can see how there isn't any chemistry that's really seemed to develop with Fant yet. I see it with with Will Dissly getting catches, with Marquise Goodwin being that wide receiver 3, and then obviously Tyler Lockett, DK Metcalf. But he hasn't really become the guy that maybe we hope to be as part of that trade package. You hope one of those guys is going to be a big part of the offense, and that was the one you had some hope for, obviously, if Drew Lock wasn't going to be right.
Right.
So I also had a problem with that formation because it seemed weird,
right,
to line up 4 wide when you're up by 7. And I think I understand the intent of it is to give guys one-on-one matchups on the outside, but it looked like it was going to put Geno in a tough spot because, the other 7 defenders are all lined up in the box, and you only have your 5 offensive linemen. You don't have any help there to try and a receiver or a running back in there to even chip or anything. So it's one of those formations that I never really like when I see the Seahawks do, because Russ would always get into trouble.
That's a perfect thing to kind of land on there. It harkened back to Russ deep shot, Russ, we're down 10 in the fourth quarter, deep shot ball. And we weren't down 10 in the fourth quarter. We were up 7, and and Geno had another Geno game, like deadly accurate, using the middle of the field. We talked about on the instant reaction show, the fake pitches into the bootlegs to the tight ends, into the crossers, the drags across the middle. Waldron was nearly perfect. This one, he was not. And also, where's the out going to go? Geno, just don't. You know what? It's Waldron. I can't give Geno played too darn good. Waldron's got to wear the O on that one. We could commence. We could close the book on that one, because it's an out and it's fine.
Yeah. Call a play for 6 yards, not one for 30.
That's it. All right. You know what, Brandon? Let's whammy this thing one more time, because there's something else. That little extra whammy when we win. Not only did we start with it in, Brandon, but this is the one, this little sub rule. When we win, not only do we start with an in, we also get the extra in. And no, it's not the Kyle Fuller, sneaky pants, Hawaiian punch Brandon earlier. It's not that. This is the full-on fledged Brandon. It's your game. It's your volley. You're serving it to me. What tickled your fancy in this game? You get one. The Doctor Strange one. Which is the one, Brandon? What did it for you?
I'll take the one, because one of the guys who we haven't talked about yet is Uchenna Nwosu.
Yes, I was hoping. I leave things off and I'm like, it has to be picked up. It has to be. And there it is. You completed the circle, man.
Well, we've talked about Ryan Neal. We talked about Bruce Irvin. And really, I feel like in a game like this, one, you could give some love to special teams, of course, because that was a big component of this game. But a lot of it has to go to the defense. And what got me to this particular play is your in that was earlier that you picked up on with Ryan Neal. With him getting that stop. But it was the play right before that is where I really thought that you might go, because you had Uchenna Nwosu lined up on the outside. It was Saquon Barkley was lined up on the opposite side of the field out wide, but they did have, I think, Breida in the backfield as a running back. And one of the things that they did is it showed the respect that they have for Nwosu. He comes in at the tackle, coming off the left side. He's blocked by the tackle, but also the running back comes in to also double team him.
Yeah.
Well, one of the things that I think that Jones was looking for Barkley out in the flat, and I think the coverage was just tight enough that he didn't want to chance it. And so when the middle of the field opened up, he starts going forward. But what you saw from Nwosu, he spin moves off of the tackle and the chip block by the running back, and he books it after Daniel Jones catches him by the feet. It's only a 2-yard gain on a day like this where you have Jones and Barkley and you're worried about those guys running it. He had just the ability to spin out of that double team block and then take off after Jones to keep it to a minimal gain. We saw, what was Jones's longest run on the day? It couldn't have been more than 5-6 yards. Right. And it was because of a play like this by Uchenna Nwosu.
That's such a beautiful one. That's such a beautiful Brandon. And I did see Baldy's breakdowns. He does a nice job of doing 2 minutes or so just on Nwosu stuff. And he really was enamored with this particular play because of exactly how you framed it. The fact that he's engaged by 2 people, doing well against both of them. Jones couldn't go his way. Nwosu still would have gotten through. but he literally does have to do he has to pivot. He has to literally do a U-turn, turn around, and then take an angle back to a hole to go get a quarterback who can run. It's such the anticipation of and the athleticism to go get to that spot is tremendous, man. It is such a good play. So fired up that you called that one out. That's a great Brandon. Congratulations. We got to extend the MVC trophy a little bit now. Not that this will be the MVC because it's just so darn good, but congrats again. You're getting all the flowers this one, my man. This is good stuff. Okay. I'm beaming. This is what football's supposed to be about, right? Just happy as can be. So we do have to rotate over to the MVC, the most valuable cranny, the very real trophy that we have 3D printed. We send it out to the VMAC, and it's very much celebrated at this point, up there with the Angry Runs scepter of Kyle Brandt. It's 1 and 1A in my book and their book, as they say to us. Brandon, I'm just going to give this one to the Deejay Dallas analysis. It had to be, Michael Scott, Wayne Gretzky, and then Brandon right there as well. You get your name on that trophy for coining the Deejay Dallas analysis on that amazing real-time blocking synopsis. How do you feel?
You keep giving me the credit for it. I was playing off of what you said, that Deejay Dallas, as he's making that block, does an analysis, and because it rhymed, it just stuck in my head. And so, coined by you, re-emphasized by me, and placed on this beautiful MVC trophy that will now be up in Deejay Dallas's locker.
Congrats, DJ. Look for it in the mail. We will get it. We'll get it shepherded out to you very, very soon. That might be, I'm not sure if it's DJ's first MVC, but if it is, if it ain't, it don't matter. He's the man this week. Brandon, speaking of the man and the women that are in from the flock, Brandon, I always want to give a little forewarning, folks. This is going to be a beefy, as Brian Baldinger said, he called the Nuosu and Mafe tag team. He called it beef and heat or something like that, or heat and beef. Yeah. I was like, this is great. Beef and heat. This is a beefy, heaty from the flock because we got lots of contributions and we're going to get through as many as we possibly can. Before we do that, Brandon, can you remind the folks, how can they get involved in this show and the other shows that we're putting out 5 times a week on the Seahawkers Pod stream?
Yeah, if you want to help support the show, help support everything that we do, putting out 5 shows a week, putting out the from the podium episodes. I mean, you almost get a show a day. And so if you want to help support that, you can go to getintheflock.com. $3 a month and get you into our Discord group. And a cool part about that, if you're listening to this show, you'll hear a lot of Discord channel names because we have a spot just for you to place those ins and those outs. Makes it real easy for Clinton to just go and curate them, bring them to the show right here. But if you want to, be a part of this in other ways too, you can head on out to Twitter, tweet at Clinton Bond, use the hashtag 3i30. That's another way to get your tweets read as part of the segment.
Yep, and it's a ton of fun. Hey, folks, for the as Adam would say, for the freeloaders out there, $3 a month. Hey, you want to do me a solid and join so you could be in the Discord and just put it in that channel? It literally would make my life easier. It would save me a good 15, 20 minutes every Monday or Tuesday, and you'd be contributing to the show.
Maybe Clinton, this segment gets so beefy that we just go to the Discord in the future.
It might have to be that way, right? It's I don't want to shut people out. However, if it's beefy and heaty the way this one is, we may have to corral that into one place to say, hey, make it to the Discord and get in the show. We are going to start, since the rule's not in there yet, we're going to start out on Twitter. We got James Dart at JD1177. He was at the game live. He was tweeting at us and he sent a few pictures in. So he was there. He wrote, feels like we're starting with an in. So, that's a nice way to start.
Maybe calling a shot early from the game.
Could be.
Derek Williamson at Derek W0 says, first quarter, 3-1, 13:49 on the clock. They direct snap to K9 while Gino gives a trick and we take a treat. First down, my personal favorite play of the game. It shows the offense is evolving and will keep anyone on their toes. Great play. In. Great
tweets, great play, nice Halloween thematics there. I celebrate the entire collection.
It's cute. It's a cute play, but it's not so cute like a Deejay Dallas attempted pass to the end zone.
Yeah, I will say this, right? I was, slamming Blythe for not being, that's why Blythe was inaccurate. Oh, Brandon,
It makes sense.
now it makes sense.
It makes
He
sense.
was high because he was like, oh crap, in a couple of plays, I got to snap this thing further directly to Ken Walker. Then he was compensating for the high one. He was like, all right, I gotta tame this down a bit. He was low, and he was doing all that just so he could get into that sweet Goldilocks zone of a snap right to the breadbasket of Kenneth Walker III for the first down. Brandon, I almost have to forgive him now. He was just practicing. That's all.
It's just practice.
It's just practice. That's all it is.
What are we talking about here?
That's
Practice?
Yeah, we are talking about at Lloydzilla. So at Lloydzilla out on Twitter. I believe he's a Brit. I think he's a Brit. Doesn't mean he's good, bad, or indifferent, but I believe he's a British man. Not for this game per se, but in Pete Carroll. In an era where the QB is king, he trusted in his process, his philosophy, and coaching, traded his king QB, and trusted he could make his side better, and genuinely believe that he has. So nice job by Lloydzilla. Yeah, man. This is a fun team, and Gino needs to be paid now. Pay Gino.
He is absolutely a Brit and a longtime member of the flock. So thanks to
go.
you. Also got a longtime contributor here to 3 in 3 out at Bailey Liborn on Twitter says, I would like to give myself an out for being so skeptical of Pete and John coming into this season. I would also like to give an in to Pete and John and the team as a whole. They have done something special, and it's come together like when Russ was on his rookie deal.
Yeah, lovely. Very well put together. Oh, I got a couple of repeats here. I'm going to have to skip down a little bit, but nice job. And Bailey Liborn's always out there on Twitter week in, week out. So very, very much appreciate it. Okay, so I'm getting a little bit of, there it is, Jackal. All right, at great_Jackal, Clinton Bond in, Tyler Lockett showing veteran, hell, Hall of Fame level resiliency, overcoming 2 huge mistakes and scoring the final blow to put the Hawks over the top. There was a lot of great discourse and discussion about Tyler's, state where, after he had the drop and after the fumble, and of course, redemption songs, all I ever had. Lovely job there. A nice job by Jackal to point out the redemption arc. Love it.
See, I think what you did here is when you were messing with me and creating the doc, as I was trying to put in one note, you created some sort of heading that now spans all over the entire document. So
I don't know what idea. Yeah, this
out to you. But
yes,
we do have Scott Campbell coming in on Twitter at 33 Scott Campbell. When we win, we start with a in John Schneider for signing Nwosu in free agency. How good has he been for the Seahawks? Unreal.
Pro Bowl season, a foot, maybe even better for Nwosu. Very difficult to achieve all pro because that becomes a political contest and
you'd have
a popularity
to get about
contest.
15 sacks.
Exactly. So, and hey, we're not trying to stop you, Nwosu. Go ahead and get 2 more a game for the rest of the year and get there. But he's been special. Nwosu has been phenomenally fun to watch. So great call there by Scott Campbell, who I believe which is really cool. I believe he's an Aussie. So we got Aussies, we got Brits, we got Jason Turner in the Facebook Ring of Honor in Seahawks put together the total package as the offense, defense, and special teams. They performed brilliantly together. Nice seeing a trick play work. Go Hawks.
Jason Kyler Yano on Facebook, I think this is from our Ring of Honor, says, when Gino pulls back the ball from the running back in an RPO situation, he is super smooth with it in a way that I think leads to an additional half-second delay by the defense. I haven't seen it done as smoothly with other quarterbacks.
Yep. And it was nice to see Amy Holmes also chime in that says, yep. And Walker leaning in and really selling it as well. It's just a nice little call out by Jason here that Gino, it's, when we talk about the old Sade and the smooth operator, Gino is a pretty smooth operator, man. Like it's rain, shine, clock ticking down, 40 seconds to go. He's pretty level, which I dig a bit. The funnest name to say, Chris Boucher out there in Facebook Ring of Honor land, Seahawkers Pod Ring of Honor out. The Seattle Mariners for causing a penalty in the Seahawks game. Stay in your own sports, guys.
Yeah, you had the official calling Pete Carroll, the coach of the Seattle Mariners, for some reason. So yeah, interesting. The officiating can't keep the sports team straight when. How hard is it, guys? You should know the teams in the sport that you actually officiate.
Yeah,
it's not that hard.
Yeah, go sports ball. I agree.
Kevin Dietrich, I wouldn't have given Lockett the out for the strip, but I'm giving it for the drop. But in goes to the coaches and Gino for going back to Lockett and Tyler himself for shrugging off the bad plays and showing out. Yeah, he had the fumble, he had the drop. He also had the moment in the end zone where he didn't get that second foot down
Oh,
that
so
would
close,
have
so close.
also would have been a touchdown too. So, yeah, a couple plays that we normally see from Tyler, obviously not right because of injury, but yeah, with the injury and with it being Tyler, I don't think you can give Tyler an out for any of that we saw.
Right. It's, I had an early out on my ledger for DK, for, hey, use two hands and don't slow down and all that stuff and catch the ball. You're elite. And then I was like, the dude's out there with some sort of a knee thing. He still played really well. He was aggressive. He didn't go out of bounds. He went for first downs. He scored the touchdown. He had the big 3rd and 14 or 3rd and 13 conversion also. So I erased it. Literally, I didn't even keep it. I erased it. I'm like, no, I'm not going to speak this.
That brings up an interesting point though. With Tyler being injured, did we not see him like try and fight through more tackles in this game than we have in any other games this season? How weird was that?
I think I think it was just situation. Like he had to, right? And that was enough. That's all we need to know, right? As fans, it's like, hey, if he's sitting down at the sticks, because he's already achieved the first down, and he's avoiding a hit, fine. And if he knows where the sticks are because he's Tyler freaking Lockett and he's going to do little spin moves and he's going to, take the hit, and go 3-4 yards upfield to get to the sticks, that's all I need to see. It's like people, he should be going forward every single time. I hear you. And as long as he got the first down, who cares? Even if he scooched across while he's on the floor, he's not touched yet. Remember that from a couple of weeks ago. It's okay. It's okay. So, but it was a little, I'm not sure if that's ironic or a coincidence. It's one of those two, but it was kind of funny to see that he's a little dinged, but yeah, he had to take more contact this game. Mr. Kevin Russell always bringing the contact in a good way in the resilience of the team. He says, see my post in the Discord, never giving up. In K9 staying on his feet and almost wrong-footing the camera crew. That's on that touchdown, of course. Out basic errors that shouldn't have left the practice field. Out Jags letting Russ get a W.
Chris Boucher has an out here. The offense with back-to-back weeks giving up a turnover when inside their own 2-yard line. Can't be giving away points like that. And that is, it had me concerned after that play that it was going to be another one of those weird Giants games where they don't deserve to win, but they get enough breaks that they're in it and end up pulling away with it through just these plays that just happen to break their way.
Yeah, it was starting to feel, that's what it was feeling like. And then when you compounded that with those third and longs I was talking about, where it's like, dude, send a fifth guy. They don't have weapons. It's cool. Send a fifth dude. And they had that extended drive that, went across the third quarter and into the fourth quarter. Luckily, or skill wise, it only results in 3. But I think everybody was like, is this the one that slips away? We were really pissed off, post game, and we're carrying this for 5 days until the next game comes around. Didn't go that way. It's good vibes, but it could have, right? That's the thing. We don't even want the possibility. So stop giving them freaking touchdowns. Stop. All right. Now we're back into the Discord with Monet Can Buy You Happiness, which is Leo in Neil getting Saquon to the ground with barely touching him with one hand. There was a couple of times Neil, ankle tackle and things of that nature. Johnny on the spot played real well.
Josh DeHuman with a couple of ends here. Cody Barton with a sack, and the defensive mentality maintaining the same. Aggressive.
Yes. And remember, Cody Barton's sack was on the play where Bruce Irvin almost had like a 10-yard sack and he just kind of just slipped through his fingers, but Cody cleans it up and gets that sack. And again, Cody played pretty well. All right, we got Arctic Snowhawk, which is nice. In big balls, Pete trusting his offense to pick up 2 big 4th down conversions on the same drive to score a touchdown and not settle for 3. Great call. We didn't talk about this yet at all. That was different. I did not expect us, not the first time and not the second time. I thought we were going to kick the field goal both times. I was like, ooh, we're going for it. Yeah. I don't know how you felt, Brandon.
I wanted to go for it both times is kind of where I was at. So I was happy to see it happen. But yeah, I know what you mean. You don't expect it from Pete and expect it in a game where points are probably going to be at a premium. especially with the way that the Giants have been playing. And I think part of it goes to show you just how much respect that Pete had for this Giants team, to where he's thinking, we got to put touchdowns up on the board. We can't settle for field goals if we're going to win this game. And so he was going to be a little bit aggressive early on, and it ended up paying off.
Yeah, and a little quick aside that I like about this one too is there's a bet that I've been hammering that I haven't talked about on PNW Prop Stars, our gambling show, because we've been using DraftKings because their props are out earlier than FanDuel's, just the way the cadence is, where by the time we record, DraftKings has a lot more player props out, but on FanDuel, they have a particular bet, which they call race to 5. So it's the first team to score 5. You're thinking 2 field goals or your first touchdown of the game. So I've been hammering this race to 5 bet, and I don't bet big, $5 a ticket, whatever. But my race to 5 hit because Pete had them big balls. So thank you, Pete, very much.
Design Pete's Beach House with the Inn. Brooks keeping his eye on the ball and stopping Barkley.
Nice stuff right in the hole. That was a tackle for a loss. I remember that play quite well. Car in our defense all around improving. It's not just our rookie star shining. You get to see all kinds of big plays from different players.
They're playing fast. Love it.
Yeah.
And Car also delivering an out, says, I refuse to blame Lockett for the fumble. He did nothing wrong, so the out goes to me.
Car stepping in front of that one. We appreciate that. Yeah, we're not gonna. It's Lockett. it's Lockett. You can't blame him. He's like an untouchable at this point, right? And of course, he does get the redemption arc, which is beautiful. Mr. Wilson Kahn, who you might know, he's a co-host on PNW Prop Stars. He's a producer of the From the Podium section. He says, in the effort from Derek Young on that fumble recovery, even though Blunt ends up with it, that was really cool because they also show it in slow motion, and you see Derek Young just like really, really like elegantly lay out, like leap for this thing. Doesn't get it, but it made for some great cinematography.
Well, it also, I think, took the Giants player out of the play because he came in so hard, which allowed Blunt to come in and really clean up behind him. So yeah, if he wasn't going to get it, it made it that much easier for the Seahawks to recover.
Very nice.
Boys biceps with the Inn. Money Myers scoring even blocked kicks.
Yes, all the good juju is on our side. It's an even year. Off the foot, I was like, oh no, because it was such a bad time if that would have gotten blocked, right? But nope, bad time turned to a good time. That thing sneaks over the bar, and Myers continues a very, very solid year. Always a solid year in the Discord. Design Pete's Beach House is back in. Carroll going over and pumping up Lockett after the drop. That's called coaching, and it was great to see. It's a couple of weeks in a row now where we're seeing Carroll in command of his dudes and like connecting in moments that end up mattering big time.
Yeah, Car picking it up as well with Gino pumping up Lockett, and then goes on to say into Lockett, showing that he won't let one catfish up or two get in his head, full on redemption arc, and then Frost giving an into Car for keeping the faith.
Listen, this is why you have to join the Discord, people. Like this is, like the MVC trophy. There's layers here. There's multiple authors. We're all in this together. All right. And we have Kev. Oh, Kev in, how's it go again? I got my peepers on. Kev. Oh, Kevin Great Glenn. Yes. Need my peepers. Kevin Great Glenn in resilience. The team is showing a great attitude. Lockett overcoming miscues for the touchdown. Defense grinding the Giants up. K9's TD run. And he ends with, I love this team. Kev, thank you. We love you for loving this team.
From Great Glen, England to Germany, we got Henrik Willicious for real. Into Shelby Harris for chasing down Daniel Jones. Into Uncle Will for forcing the fumble in his Uncle Will fashion. Into Travis Homer for forcing the second and so important fumble of the day. Out to the Giants and their Mickey Mouse offense.
Love that. This is a name I always fancy. We got Maurice. I like the name Maurice. I always have. You could go with Mo. I like the name Maurice. We got Maurice in the Discord in. Tackling has been solid for the most part, especially from the defensive backs. That's a huge step up from preseason and the early games. There are no lies detected in Maurice's analysis. Tackling has gotten resoundingly better and more consistent.
KC Hawk with the Waldron play calling, especially the direct snap to K9 with Gino walking down and the shovel pass to Uncle Will on 4th down. That was a fun play that we haven't yet talked about. The They needed the 2 yards. It looked like it was going to go to K9 in that situation. And just as the defense is maybe focused on Ken Walker a little bit too much, Uncle Will able to take that shovel pass in. Doesn't quite get in the end zone, but gets the first down. Out. Ticky-tack, but Goodwin hopping out of bounds on 3rd down on the last field goal drive of the first half with 1 minute, 30 seconds left. Go down in the field to play, and the Giants will burn a timeout.
Hey, listen, this is what we're here for, the crannies. We're here for the nooks. So we're here for that analysis. Going back to the positive one very quickly. Hey, when we do things that the Kansas City Chiefs do and we pull it off successfully, and it's like, ooh, we can
I've
do
seen that
now.
play before. I've seen other teams run that play, and now we're doing it.
Right. Exactly. I just had to swipe away a way too big spider that just popped up on my keyboard. It's okay. It is Halloween season. It's somewhere near me. So if I become radioactive, you know what's up. All right, we got Flocktimus Prime in. Good game in the trenches by Shelby Harris. He did a lot of flexing. Yes, he did.
We got Arctic Snowhawk with another in. MV Pino. There you go. Not MV Gino.
Yes.
It's MV Pino.
Yes, it's MV Gino. That's okay. J Scott at AZ as 12 in just this team and this season. This might have been my favorite game of the season. The rookies taking the NFL by storm. Gino and his story. If the defense keeps playing the way they did today, the whole stat line with Woolen, it felt like they didn't target him as much at all. That's true. The offense is fun, creative, and productive. Let's keep this up. Go Hawks. That's a stream of consciousness, a whole lot crammed into one in. And why not? If you're going to, be a Bear, be a Grizzly.
William Music with the in to Gino being the only blocker that just slows down the Giants defenders enough as Ken Walker runs it in the 4th quarter, and in to Gino pushing the pile forward at 2:27 in the 4th quarter. Out, run blocking in the middle, could not get a push for the first down in the 4th quarter with 1:57. Not the first time, but yeah, how about Gino picking up some blocks?
Gino did a wonderful job there. It was just great to see. And he springs them, and what a cool run at the end there. Right. So, all right, we are going now. I'm going to skip on down to Michael Dixon's big balls in. This whole game was really just fun. We had a respectable opponent. Very nice. Turnovers on both sides. Gino doing Gino things, the redemption arc. Defense looked like they had the swag of the LOB. And he goes on to say the commentary was entertaining. And even Pete's penalty proved that the penalties can be fun too. So Michael Dixon's big balls, jamming a lot in there, turducken style, and I'm here for it.
Well, speaking of jamming a lot into the final in as our closer, Hawk Van Dyke, enters the arena in another game where we shut down the opponent, save a stupid turnover within the 5-yard line. In Diggs's toe tackle of Barkley when we were up 7-0. He had nothing but the end zone in front of him. Critical avoidance of a momentum shift. And in Tyler changing the worst day of my career narrative. In a true 3-phase victory. Thing of beauty. And in, you got no outs. They ruined your show this week.
I will take that. I'm happy they did. And that was a really robust and fun from the flock. And again, we're gonna go through as many as we possibly can. Getintheflock.com, join youtube.com/Seahawkers podcast. Like Brandon, you said it's 5 days a week, but it's actually like 6 shows a week, 6 unique shows that are dropping in the middle of the season, in the middle of this special season. So last thing I'd like to land with you, Brandon, is now we got to go to that graveyard, that hell of a place where we have some ghosts of our own in Arizona, and Vegas still thinks the Cardinals should win this game. They're favored. The Cardinals are still favored in this game. What do you think gives?
I don't know what to make of it, but other than the fact that maybe Vegas knows that it's weird whenever the Seahawks and the Cardinals face off against each other. And so they're giving a couple points to the home team in that situation, maybe extra points, maybe a touchdown worth of extra points just in weirdness for the Cardinals. And, they do have DeAndre Hopkins back. So there's a little bit of an added component to that Cardinals offense this week.
There sure is. And again, we, as Adam would say all the time, we are incapable of playing a normal game versus the Cardinals. So that's worth something right there. We will talk about, we got a whole week of shows coming up. We got What If as the preview show. Obviously, the flagship that everybody's here for with Brandon and Adam. That'll be episode 389. That's kind of dope. And then we're going to have PNW Prop Stars at the end of the week to look at these odds, look at these props, and hopefully help you guys make a little bit of money. Little foreshadowing, Adam won for the 5th freaking week in a row. So just tune into, I mean, I went 2 for 3. I made some money. I was happy with that. He went 3 for 3 on his major bets. And it's five
and
weeks.
He's not just taking,
No.
powder puff bets that are,
No.
minus 180. No, I think he went all in the plus column with each of his bets this week too.
He did. He went 3 for 3, and he was like plus 265 on one, just like, and he's just lobbing him out there with this confidence now. But when you win 5 weeks in a row, and he's not like, he's not like losing money, but being the best loser. He's winning. He's winning every single week. So tune in to PNW Prop Stars. It's a ton of fun. We have a lot of great content coming all week. Most importantly, continue to revel in what is emerging as a special season. Pass on the Hawkra. This is fun. This is what football's meant to be. Freaking Pete's glowing. DK and Tyler and Gino are at the podium together. This team is a vibe. It's a ton of energy and fun. And Brandon, let us go into the desert and emerge with our 6th freaking W.
And with that,
there's only one thing left to say.
go Hawks.
Go Hawks.